Hello everybody, good morning and welcome to the United Stand. I'm joined by Ben Foster in the aftermath of the Cristiano Ronaldo interview with Piers Morgan. I'm just going to ask you straight away, Ben, I've got lots of things to say on it. What are your thoughts as an ex-player, as a human being, I suppose, in relation to Cristiano Ronaldo's interview? How do you feel about it?
I can't. Like, we're talking about a 37-year-old man here, and it's just like, mate, like, you've got to leave the ego at the door sometimes, haven't you? You've got to accept it for what it is. You're not playing particularly well. You're not in the starting lineup all the time, but you don't need to go on Piers Morgan and air all your dirty laundry out. It just leaves such a bad taste in the mouth. It really, really does. And I genuinely think that he's tarnishing his legacy at Manchester United. Not even just at Man United. I think he's tarnishing it full stop. Full stop. To finish your career with all these kind of like things going on around you and you're constantly coming out and saying things, just leave it alone. You haven't got to do that. And I think that's probably the final nail in the coffin for him at Man United.
Yeah, it's interesting. I mean, we've got stuff coming out. I did a show last night live about it, and a lot of people were saying we're just going to get leak after leak from the club and the players now basically throwing Ronaldo under the bus because you leave yourself open to that. Obviously, I think you're right. I think, you know, he's opened the door for criticism. But some of the stuff coming out this morning, I think it was from Sky, Cave or something, was saying that the club are shocked. They didn't know the interview was coming out. He's disrespected the club, he's disrespected the manager, he's disrespected the players. I was listening to TalkSport on the way here, and you've got, I think it was Jamie O'Hara going, why has he done that? What's he done? And I'm just like, hold on a minute, let's just call it what it is. Ronaldo's not just gone round Piers Morgan's house and he said, do you fancy an interview? It's 100% premeditated. It's not an interview, it's a goodbye interview, and he 100% knows that's the end. The fact that people are going, why has he done it? And the club are going, he shouldn't have done that, he should have kept it quiet. Well, he shouldn't have kept it quiet because he knows exactly what it is. It's the end game. It's a last stand. It's somebody who feels they're in the corner and they've got nothing else to lose, so I'm just going to blurt it all out because it's breach of contract, probably. I
don't know if it is. I think he, as a footballer, genuinely, there's not a lot you can do to get sacked.
Oh, okay. This is interesting.
Unless you go and punch somebody square in the face, you're pretty much you're covered. You're not going to get sacked for doing stuff like this.
So if you were at Watford or Birmingham or even Man United, or let's say Man United, you're the reserve goalkeeper, and you go Piers, and he goes, "Who are you?" Yeah. No, but you do. You find someone. I would have done it. And we do an interview, and you go, "Oh, bloody the kitchen's crap. The jacuzzi's rubbish.
Rooney's rubbish.
I'm disrespected. I'm better looking than Rooney."
He's not wrong though, is he?
But, you know, I should be playing every week. That you probably would be shitting yourself about what Sir Alex Ferguson's going to do. Yeah. But you're not in breach of contract.
No, like I say, unless you do something really, really bad, like I say, punch somebody in the face, off the pitch, some bad things you can do off the pitch that would get you sacked. But doing something like that, I'm pretty sure you can't get sacked for it. So what it does though is it puts him in a position where really there's no way back for him. No. And the club know this, and he knows that. And I think the reason why he's done it now on the eve of the World Cup is the fact that he will go away now for the best part of a month, and everybody at Man United will be having internal meetings, and basically they'll come up with a conclusion of, right, come on, let's come up with a severance package, basically. Because if you think, what is he on, 25 mil a year? He's probably owed the best part of 12, 13 million pounds. So they'll come up with a deal. They'll settle on something with Cristiano, and I'm pretty sure that he'll be on his merry way. But it's just, you just don't need to do this kind of stuff. Do you know what I mean? I think if he was open and honest with the club properly, and I know he says he was, and I know he says he's been trying to leave and they're trying to force him out and all that kind of stuff, and I'm getting mixed messages about how it actually works, but...
Well, I just wanted to ask you about that because, for anybody who doesn't know, Ronaldo has basically said he's been being forced out before Ten Hag. He says, the coach is now trying to do it, but it was going on before with some executives. I've been disrespected, I've been forced out, which is really difficult to understand because we were told in the summer that he wanted to go. And is it probably lost in translation a bit here and we need the full interview? Because what he might mean is, I did want to go in the summer because I didn't like what was happening at the club, but then they wouldn't let me go, and then they're not picking me, and that's forcing me out and disrespecting me. Maybe that's what he means, that they probably should have let him go in the summer, which in hindsight probably should have done. And I actually think the timing of the interview is perfect, because if he'd done it 2 weeks ago with the games going on, that would have been way more disruptive after the storm off. I think it does give it's like throwing the bomb in the room, isn't it? You've got all the horrible damage. But actually, once it's done, it's done. Yeah. And actually, it's not a bad time for the club to just have 4 or 5 weeks to go, how do we resolve?
It's exactly. It's all to do with timing for me. Like I say, he'll be away from the place now, and I think the problem is if he was still the main man and he's killing it on the pitch, I'd understand it. But because he hasn't been that main guy, and when he's not playing, Man United seem to do all right, to be perfectly honest with you. I think now's the time. I think the Fulham game is probably a really good example of these kind of executives and the people at board level will go, well, do you know what? We could do without him now, I think, to be fair. And with all this bad sort of blood going on around it, I think now's the time to get rid. But you either do it the way he's done it, or you do it, again, like I was listening, like you, with Jamie O'Hara this morning, talking on TalkSport, and it's shocking, and it's shocking. And I'm thinking, it's not that shocking, is it really? Kind of this sort of stuff happens all the time, honestly. You just probably don't hear about it.
Well, I was saying last night, I mean, Roy Keane and Sir Alex Ferguson at the end, Roy Keane did an interview basically slagging off
on MUTV.
Got called in the office. They had a big fallout. That's the end of Roy Keane. It's not.
It happens all the time.
It ended badly with Beckham.
Happens all the time.
So it's not shocking. It's not sensational. Really, I think it's probably about money as well, because United have got a lot of money invested in Ronaldo. If they didn't, I think he goes in the summer, and it's like, it's almost like it's a really bad situation for everybody, isn't it? Because it's almost like they've got trapped together. And Ten Hag is probably going, I want you to go. And Ronaldo's going, yeah, I want to go. And you've got people above going, yeah, but he's on a massive contract. He sells his shirts, sort it out. Yeah. And then they're never going to sort it out.
It's just conflict all over the shop. And this is what I mean. You just football clubs shouldn't operate in this way, where there's just conflict all over the shop, where it might work for the marketing department, but it might not work on the pitch, or this and that. And there's some of the bigger teams, some of the teams that seem to be doing it properly, the Liverpools, the Man Cities, the Arsenals, they don't ever seem to run into these sort of problems. Man United just seem to want to shoot themselves in the feet. Do you know what I mean? It's like they get the chance to sign this big, massive name, and people who are divisive, like the Pogbas and like the Ronaldos, and sometimes you're just better off without it. Go under the radar, go about your business properly, and win games on the pitch, and don't worry about the off-field.
And not a brand.
Exactly that, yeah.
As an ex-player yourself, how do you react to that on the bus home last night from a big win for Fulham today? Yeah. Some of these players like Bruno and Dalot will be playing with him in the World Cup. Yeah. Casemiro and Varane, obviously Brazil and France, they've played with him at Real Madrid, big relationship with Ronaldo. Do players just go, sort of, some of them will just laugh at it and go, that's Cristiano. Yeah. Will players really be outraged, or will they be like, I've got my own things to worry about, at the end of the day, let the club worry about that? I mean, I don't feel that footballers these days, especially United players, are that. I mean, look at some of the bad results over the last 18 months. I can't imagine they're waking up, chucking their cornflakes and going, it's a disgrace, when some of the performances they put in. I don't know, how does that... Because the club have put it out there that he's let the players down, but I think actually the modern player probably...
Players won't care.
Some will be WhatsApping him probably.
Yeah, players won't care. I think the only reason when a player starts to care and the squad cares is when he is a bad egg in the dressing room. Yeah. So if he's, like I say, if he's coming into the training ground every day and he's kicking off and he's being disrespectful to staff or other players and not turning up on time and storming off the pitch and like kind of all that kind of... But if he's doing that every single day where it actually affects the whole squad, that's the bit where players go, do you know what, this ain't on anymore, that's not cool. And you start to lose respect for somebody. But they'll know what Cristiano's about, and they'll basically all be looking at their phones this morning going, wow, that's him done. That's him done, isn't it? That is him done. But there won't be any kind of animosity between them and him. They'll all still be friends. Like you say, you've got Fernandes and Dalot going off with Portugal, and they'll be absolutely fine with him. And he'll be fine with them as well. It's not a problem like that. It's just... This problem is between Ronaldo and the club, and to bring the players into it, it's just unnecessary, because it's not a problem for them.
He spoke a lot about the club. He said that he wasn't on pre-season tour because his 3-month daughter was hospitalised, which is quite a serious topic, and he said that he felt disrespected. The club didn't back him on that. I think it's really interesting, because I really didn't agree with what he said about Ranić. He was very disrespectful. Obviously, I don't agree with the Ten Hag thing because it's the current manager and that's disrespectful. But he did throw a lot of things in about the club. Now, a few United fans have gone, oh, he's only saying that because he's doing the interview. Well, of course, he's only saying it because he's doing the interview. If he was playing, like you said, if he was scoring goals and playing for the team, he wouldn't be out doing stuff about the way the club is run. But it doesn't make it not true. Yeah. And some of that was really interesting, that he said that The canteen's the same as it was, the jacuzzi. Basically, since Sir Alex Ferguson's left, the club has just basically
stagnated.
Stood still.
Yeah.
Whatever people think about Ronaldo, I personally think as a United fan that's really important, because Ronaldo will go, that will happen, but the Glazers are still in charge. And I don't think that should be ignored. And I think the club will try and sweep that under the carpet. And I think the fans need to be wise to the fact that there's a lot of stuff come out there from Ronaldo which doesn't put the club in big light. And what do you think the ramifications will that be long term?
I think I understand what he's saying about the training ground, the stadium, and all this. I think what he's trying to get at is, it sounds harsh to go after the canteen and the chef and all that. It's horrible. You don't need to do that. That's just petty. But I think what he's basically trying to say is we're still stuck in our old ways from when we were successful, and the game's changed from then. So you look at some of the bigger clubs now, even teams like Leicester, and they've got world-class training grounds. They're training centres, aren't they now? And they're all better than Man United's, which is incredible to say.
Yeah.
The stadiums, the new stadiums, probably better than Manchester United's, which is, again, incredible to say. But I think that's what he's getting at now is, when you've got the likes of Man City who have got a world-class training ground half a mile down the road, and you come into the canteen and you've got a chef who makes individual food for everybody, and it's all tailored for like that kind of stuff. I think it's something else to blame. And it's pathetic. It is. It's really, really bad. It's something else to blame, where instead of looking inside yourself and going, this is what it is, let's just deal with it and move on and crack on with it, it's just something else that they can go, well, it's not my fault. It's the fact that we haven't got the training facilities or the training ground and all that, which is just rubbish. Absolute rubbish.
I want to ask you about the Man City thing, and, do you think he should have gone there? Was it a mistake coming to United? But the first thing is there. When I look at it, and you've just said it there, and you're not the only person. I see a lot of people saying, you should just buckle down and get on with it. How easy is it to do that when you're one of the greatest players that's ever been? You've just won Player of the Year. You're the top scorer. You come back to the team. You miss pre-season because of a big family issue, and then you basically feel that you are not wanted. You're on the bench.
Yeah.
It must be difficult for someone like you to do that. Imagine what that would be like for a Cristiano Ronaldo to basically come back and be like, new manager, new surroundings. I'm sort of being disrespected. I did miss pre-season. I'm on the bench for people that last season were a joke.
Yeah.
I actually empathise with that. I actually think that if he thinks he's still got it, and then he's being told you haven't by a new manager and everything like that, I just think they should have let him go in August. I just think that was the obvious thing, and then because they didn't, this is not surprising or shocking to me.
But I think you've just still got to get your head down and just get on with it. Like you have. Nowadays, I think players are so quick and easy to just go, well, it's not working for me, so sod it. I'm just going to throw my toys out the pram and I'm going to do interviews.
But is he not just wasting a year of his career if he doesn't do what he... That's what I'm trying to say. He will get out in January now. He wanted to go in August.
Yeah.
They wouldn't let him go in August. So if he'd have got his head down, he'd have been sat there till the summer as a bench player.
You don't know that, though. You don't know that, though. That's what I'm saying. I've seen it so many times where players at football clubs, they will get disrespected. It could be the similar sort of thing where somebody might have had a baby on a Friday night and they're like, I'm going to stay in the hotel with my newborn baby and my wife. And the club are like, no, we need you back in the team hotel for the game tomorrow. And they'll come back to the team hotel and then they might not play tomorrow or something. But it leaves a bad feeling inside you. It's like, you've disrespected me and my family. But you just got to get on with it, because I see it all the time. That's just one example. But stuff like that goes on in football every single week in every single football club up and down the country. You have to just get your head down. The players who just get their head down, it might not work this week or next week or even the week after. But long term, in your whole career, long term, it will work out for you. There's a real quality to being able to just go, yeah, it's shit and I'm not enjoying it, but I'll get my head down and work. Everybody sees that. Everybody looks up to that and goes, yeah, that's fair dues. And eventually the manager will see it and go, he's that guy I can rely on, actually. When the chips are down and the shit hits the fan, he's the guy I'll turn to, because he doesn't throw his toys out the pram, just gets his head down and works.
And maybe that's the problem, because we spoke about it 2 weeks ago. That is a great bit of advice, but when you're Cristiano Ronaldo, who spent God knows how many years, even as a young player at Man United, where Sir Alex was like, you don't need to track back, all his life, it's like, you don't need to do that. Yeah. And then suddenly at 37, when his time's running out, he's like, I've got to get my head down. You can see he was never going to do it.
Yeah.
And this is what we were talking about 2 weeks ago. He's probably one of only 2 or 3 players in world football who, with 5 minutes to go against Spurs, gets up and walks off.
Yeah, incredible.
It's
you've got to applaud his cojones, is that the word? Like, he has got some balls.
Well, it is, isn't it?
He's got some balls of steel, by the way, to be able to walk off a football pitch like that, to be able to come out and do a Piers Morgan interview. You remember the Romelu Lukaku one last season? That was basically game over for him at Chelsea after doing that. And I think this is a very similar sort of thing.
Well, I think it might end up being the thing that people do now, isn't it? Yeah. It's not an interview. It's not a let's resolve it. It's a goodbye. I did want to ask you, though, you mentioned Manchester City. He references that. The full interview will come out on Wednesday, Thursday, of course, but we've got snippets. And he did say that, look, Man City was an option. I followed my heart. Sir Alex Ferguson said, you can't play for Man City. I followed my heart. I called him a traitor when I heard he was going to go to Man City. In hindsight, would it have been better for everybody? He'd have had a Premier League title. He'd have a lot more Champions League goals. I mean...
There's no way of predicting how that would go.
No.
I can't imagine Pep Guardiola giving Ronaldo the freedom to just do what he wants on a football pitch. You look at the way Man City play. Erling Haaland will track back and he will come and defend set pieces and he will sprint back to try and make a block if he's lost the ball or something like that. I can't imagine Cristiano Ronaldo doing exactly that sort of thing. So
could have gone worse.
Again, it could have gone it could have gone the same way as it's gone at United, to be honest with you. I could see Ronaldo getting hoiked off after 35 minutes because he's not doing his job. He's not doing what the team needs, and then it's a problem because that makes Ronaldo unhappy, Guardiola unhappy, everybody else sees it. It's just bad atmosphere and bad energy, and you don't need it. So, no, I don't think... I think him going to Man City, yeah, he would have scored some goals and he would have won some tournaments and all that kind of stuff, but I can't imagine that it would have been a match made in heaven either.
Well, look, hopefully it will get resolved now. I think there's still a bit more of a storm to come. We've only had the rain. The storm's coming on Wednesday, Thursday, but it does give time. What do you think the legacy will be after this? Because obviously I'm a United fan. For me, he'll always be a legend, and I think time's a great healer. We just need to separate.
Yeah, he'll be remembered for his first spell at Man United. Again, in my eyes, always still the best, always the greatest, and he always will be. I don't like seeing stuff like this. It is a shame for him to sort of go out like this. But yeah, for sure, he's not going to be remembered for this second spell at Man United. For sure, for all the right reasons. The first spell, it was absolutely incredible, and then from what he did after that at Real Madrid. No, but it's a shame for him to finish it like this.
As I said last night, you either leave the hero or you stay long enough to become the villain, and I think that's what's happened with Cristiano.
You're so wise. You're so wise.
It's Batman. Thanks for coming on, Ben.
Pleasure,
Appreciate
mate.
that.
Top man.
Good stuff. Thanks everyone for watching. Make sure you smash a like on the video. Just a reminder, I've got my Wash and Go advert coming out at 12 o'clock on my channel.
Mate, I've seen the clips of this, by the way.
Yeah.
It is world class. You're like
nervous.
David Brent all over. You are amazing, by the way.
I'm
absolutely
quite nervous
amazing
about it, actually, because I don't know whether people are going to get what's going on.
No, it's brilliant, mate. I love it.
We'll see. Lots more. We've got Fabrizio Romano this afternoon as well. Lots going on the channel. Thanks for watching.